This is CBS 12 News at 5.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Liz Kedantis.
And I'm Jim Grimes. We are following breaking news at this hour. An Amber Alert issued for a Treasure Coast child this morning, still active.
Take a look. This is his photo. He is 12-year-old Leon Scarborough. He's from Fort Pierce. And as of right now, he is still missing. Police
say he was taken by his father, Tracy Scarborough. You see him right there in the shot. He was just learning that we've just learned that he was under a court order not to have any contact with the child.
Leon was last seen along Nuevo Lagos Street near his grandmother's house where he lives. That's in a neighborhood just east of I-95 near the Spanish Lakes Country Club.
And that's where we find CBS 12's Amber Robb. She joins us live over in Fort Pierce with what we know right now.
Liz and Jim, I'm here on Nuevo Lagos Street in Fort Pierce, and this is where neighbors say the boy's grandmother lives. And earlier today, we saw deputies from the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office canvassing the neighborhood, just talking with neighbors. They also had department cars that were marked and unmarked parked along this stretch of road throughout the day. But authorities say this area was the last place 12-year-old Leon Scarborough was last seen. A child gone missing. It's a situation no family wants to be in.
And then we heard the Amber Alert. And when it said the 6500 block of Nuevo Lagos, I thought, oh, that's my neighbor. So maybe something happened down there. So then we saw the Amber Alert that it was the boy that was missing.
The St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office saying 12-year-old Leon Scarborough went missing from the Spanish Lakes Fairways area on July 6th around 9:15 p.m. According to the Sheriff's Office, Leon was last seen wearing a dark-colored shirt and shorts and yellow Crocs. He also wears a large silver chain around his neck and has a mole on his shoulder blade.
I hope they find him.
According to authorities, Leon was placed in the custody of his grandmother in December, who lives in the area. Neighbors say they haven't seen the young boy that often.
Once in a while, we see the boy there.
Cute little boy. Used to say hello to him when he passed, waved back to me. That's, about it. I didn't interact with him at all, but he seemed friendly and nice.
Leon's mother was granted supervised visitation, but 2 weeks ago, the boy's father, 54-year-old Tracy Scarborough, was served a no-contact order. Authorities believe Leon is with his father. Authorities say Tracy has recently made violent threats to people who are involved in the custody case, and that he has a violent criminal history. So if you see them, authorities say do not approach, just contact law enforcement immediately. Reporting live in Fort Pierce, I'm Amber Robb, CBS 12 News.
CBS 12 News will keep you updated with the very latest developments.
Yes, be sure to stay with us both on air and online for updates. Well, turning now to weather, a flood advisory in effect for some of you.
We sent the CBS 12 storm tracker out to get a check of the roadways for you. Let's check in with that.
Yeah, it is. This is a little dark out there right now. Look at those clouds in the sky, but no rain's falling at this hour. This is our storm tracker that's heading through West Palm Beach, heading north on Military Trail right now.
All right, let's get right over to meteorologist Michael Ehrenberg, who has that flood advisory, who's under it and where all that rain is right now. Michael.
Yeah, Liz and Jim, you saw that storm tracker truck moving through West Palm, and the rain is mostly over with, it looks like, for the eastern parts of Palm Beach County. But down south near Boca, we still have a flood advisory in effect until 5:15 tonight. This green area all the way down here, this has been issued a couple hours or so ago. This will likely be allowed to expire at 5:15. The reason these flood advisories last is because there's a lot of standing residual water on the roadways. We've seen radar estimates of 1.5 to 2.5 inches of rain along the immediate coast, Federal Highway east of I-95, Yamato, Boca, and parts of the Delray Beach vicinity. Other than that, again, after the heavier storms, just residual light rain for West Palm, Singer Island, the Gardens, Jupiter, sprinkles. That's about it. Up north, a little bit of heavier storm activity now moving east of the Indian River County area. New storms firing up along and southwest of the I-95 area near Fort Pierce. More storms firing up in Okeechobee County. So the lion's share of the activity will probably be more storms generating in the next hour or so for those of you up there along the Treasure Coast. Before the storms, wow, was it hot out there. At 96, a new record high for Vero Beach, breaking the old record of 95 set back in 2009. And we still have that heat advisory in effect. But the good news here, with all the storms cooling off, those feels-like temperatures have dropped by 20 to 30 degrees, feeling like the comfortable 70s and 80s. We'll time out this weekend's storms coming up in a little bit.
West Palm Beach police have made it no secret they need the public's help to solve recent homicides and shootings.
Yeah, according to the police, this issue has been a problem for years. People just not wanting to come forward for whatever reason. Our Al Peffley is joining us outside the West Palm Beach Police Department tonight with more.
When the police chief says something, people listen. A comment he made earlier this week seemed disturbing and very telling about the people who are committing murders on the streets of West Palm Beach.
You know, we got people that are responsible for these shootings. I'm hearing a number of about 12 individuals that are reportedly responsible for over 100 homicides here in the city, dating back, several years ago.
The police chief made that startling comment Wednesday, one day after a 4th of July shooting that wounded a 15-year-old girl. He appears to be saying about a dozen people are leaving a trail of deaths across the city.
So we're going to let these 12 people tell hundreds of other people that this is the way they're going to live in their neighborhood. We need to all work together and change that.
The fact that the police chief says a dozen or so people are responsible for more than 100 slayings in West Palm Beach does not surprise the local community activist.
There could be and possibly is a small group of folks that's running around creating the large bulk of crimes.
Pinewood Park Neighborhood Association President Denise Smith Barnes says police may know who's responsible, but the challenge is getting enough evidence to actually charge anyone.
People that are sitting there watching or even taping, videoing the situations that are happening are not reporting it. And this allowed those few to terrorize the communities.
She says it's unfortunate that some of these people are out on the streets and not behind bars.
And if you notice those numbers, then and that means you know who they are. So why aren't we going after them? And why aren't they still walking around?
West Palm Beach police say so far this year in 2023, there have been 4 murders in the city. For the same period last year, January to July in 2022, there were 9 murders. So the murder rate this year in the city is about half of what it was last year at this time. The police chief says people cannot and must not be afraid to come to police with information to help arrest the perpetrators.
I believe that if we're going to be bullied by a group of people, then they're going to continue to bully us.
West Palm Beach police say any information given to them is confidential and you can remain anonymous. In West Palm Beach, Al Peffley, CBS 12 News.
We also received this statement from the state attorney's office. They say when there is sufficient evidence to charge any of these individuals, we're confident it will be presented to our office.
As for the teen girl who was shot on Tuesday night in West Palm Beach, police are still searching for that gunman in that case. Police say the girl was not the intended target. She was watching fireworks when she was hit by a bullet. The 2 suspects they're searching for ran from the scene. Anyone with information is being asked to call West Palm Beach Police.
A Boca Raton officer who's part of an internal affairs investigation retiring effective Monday. Back in June, Officer Matthew McNichol happened to be accused of mistreating a pregnant woman during a traffic stop. This is the body camera video. Police had been responding to a disturbance related to a couple having an argument at a gas station. The woman refused to cooperate with Officer McNichol as shown in the video. They ended up both of them getting into a struggle. She claims it was police brutality and an internal affairs investigation is still ongoing. It's unclear how his retirement will affect that.
Health officials in Palm Beach County want you to know about a possible bacterial contamination in the Boynton Beach Intracoastal. A no-swim advisory is in effect for the area. This is due to a recent wastewater spill. That spill happened near East Ocean Avenue. We want you to know that drinking water is not affected. The city of Boynton Beach is working with the Florida Department of Environmental Protection to get everything cleaned up. We'll keep you updated on the progress. Check back with CBS 12 News on air and online for updates.
Governor DeSantis' presidential campaign releasing a video on Twitter right before the holiday weekend that's making the wrong kind of headlines with more than 25 million views now. As CBS 12's Victoria DeCardenas reports, this clip has even the governor's supporters in the gay community calling it homophobic.
Well, the Twitter account is called The DeSantis Room, and it's run by campaign staffers. And that video was posted on the last day of Pride Month, and it had even conservatives like the Log Cabin Republicans, the nation's oldest gay conservative organization, saying it's divisive and desperate. This video is getting Florida Governor Ron DeSantis a lot of the wrong kind of attention. Tweeted out by the DeSantis War Room, whose Twitter bio describes the account as rapid response for the DeSantis campaign, begins with clips of former President Donald Trump promising to protect the rights of LGBTQ citizens and saying he'd let Caitlyn Jenner use whatever bathroom she chose in the White House. The insinuation being Trump is too woke. Then the music changes, and we see clips of the governor, pro and anti-DeSantis headlines, commentaries against the governor from the web and MSNBC, inexplicably mixed in with images of muscle men and movie stars like Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt in Roman armor.
From a professional point of view, I was just really distracted by the lack of any kind of focus. I wasn't really sure about who the ad was directed to, what the intended impact was, and really what the takeaway piece was going to be.
The nation's largest Republican organization dedicated to representing LGBTQ conservatives endorsed the governor's re-election campaign in 2022 and supports many of his controversial policies, like those on women's sports and parental rights in education. But this ad, Moran says, is a problem. Many people have called it a very homophobic ad. Would you agree with that statement?
I would echo those statements that you had elements of homophobia and homoeroticism in that ad.
The DeSantis campaign has not responded to CBS 12 News questions about the ad, but in an interview with conservative Tomi Lahren for her online show, Governor DeSantis defended the messaging, calling out Trump's record.
I think, identifying Donald Trump as really being a pioneer in injecting gender ideology into the mainstream, where he was having men compete against women in his beauty pageants. I think that's totally fair game.
The governor did not address other concerns raised by the gay community, but Moran says the fallout has been encouraging for the Log Cabin group.
I'm really heartened by the response from so many people throughout the conservative spectrum on, again, something as minor as a retweeted ad like this, but it shows that the Republican Party of today just isn't going to put up with gay baiting, isn't going to put up with that old playbook.
And since we first started reporting on this story this morning, that video has since been deleted from that DeSantis-linked account. Meanwhile, the Log Cabin Republican president told me that right now they haven't started the process of deciding who they're going to endorse for the White House, but did say while something like this isn't necessarily going to disqualify Governor DeSantis, it is something that they are going to have to take into consideration. Reporting live in West Palm Beach, Victoria DeCardenas, CBS 12 News.
Well, meantime, the latest polls show former President Trump still heavily leading that GOP field. According to the latest Echelon Insights survey, Trump has 49% of the support. DeSantis dropping 3 points in that survey. Now at 16%. In third place is Ramaswamy. He is now just 6 points behind DeSantis with 10% showing. No matter what the polls show, DeSantis says he will be participating in the first and upcoming debate, the presidential debate that'll be held in Milwaukee, Wisconsin on August the 23rd.
If you've been to a local park, you may have seen homeless people sleeping under pavilions or on benches, sometimes making a big mess. But today, a group of homeless turned the tables. They were the ones cleaning up a park. Vero Beach's Pocahontas Park, otherwise known as the jewel of downtown, has become a worn-down shell of itself. The park is just off US 1 in the middle of all the action. CBS 12 Treasure Coast reporter Dylan Huberman is there. He has more on why the homeless are picking up the park.
In recent years, homeless people have been staying and sleeping in the once lively Pocahontas Park, but now they're helping clean it up and earning paychecks for it.
The century-old Pocahontas Park is getting some much-needed attention. Vero Beach City Manager Monty Fall says the community gathering place hasn't received any real maintenance since 2004.
It's kind of like erosion. You don't notice it right up front, but then as something starts to need to be painted or a bench replaced or a piece of playground equipment, you just start to see that pile up.
But now something is being done about it. Tony Zorbaugh of the nonprofit The Source came up with an idea to help the city, turning the homeless people in the park from the problem to the solution.
They had some issues with the homeless population down here in this community. So our members and our team came up with the concept that let's put people back to work. Let's give them an opportunity to rejoin our community, but in a positive, healthy way.
As soon as I had that conversation with Tony, I said, we're going to make this happen.
For the last several weeks, the homeless have been cleaning up the park and getting paid for it. The weekly stipends come from The Source through their Community Works program. The homeless workers are focusing on power washing, removing trash, and fixing benches in the park to bring people back to this iconic place.
This is something that we didn't have the resources in our budget to do. We would have had to budget the money to hire a contractor to do all this work. It's something we wouldn't have gotten to for quite a while.
The opportunities for these workers do not end with the park. The project is meant to reintegrate these people back into the working world.
This program is to make sure that these people are employable. So within our first week, we had one of our first students land a full-time job at IHOP in the city.
There's no plan for this to stop anytime soon, and they're constantly looking for volunteers. So if you want to get involved, go to our website, cbs12.com, and look for this story. In Vero Beach, Dylan Huberman, CBS 12 News.
Coming up, the battle between Twitter and the newest app, Threads, could end up in a courtroom. Why Twitter is threatening a lawsuit.
A 4th of July tweet turns into a PR headache. Coming up, the backlash against a popular ice cream company.